How's it going, everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. And this is another little life update video slash announcement video, if you will. So the main focus of this little video, is 3 things that I'm going to be canceling or stopping for now. Now, to a degree, this may affect you, but then again, it's mostly me that's being affected, and I just kind of want to let you guys know what's up, what's going on with Griff Dog. Am I going to be making one more spark? We'll talk about that later. So, 3 things that I am stopping. So, the first thing that I am shutting down is my Discord server. So, I've decided that I've had enough of the Discord server that I made last fall, and it's just not worth it anymore to really run that, because I'm still figuring out myself, and at this point I really haven't been having much fun with this Discord server, and it's been more of like a responsibility, and I have to be more like a father figure, if you will. Because whenever you go onto Discord, like into your own Discord, and you go to one channel and it shows like 50 plus messages in a channel, it's like, oh crap, something has gone down. I don't know what, but I'm kind of afraid to see what's going on. I do want to mention that no one has forced me to make this decision. This is all clearly on me. Again, it's just an extra responsibility, and I just don't want to really deal with that anymore. In the future, I might go ahead and build like a new Discord server and have it be like for a more specific thing. But in regards to like an actual Griff Dog server, I don't think that's going to happen. And also too, lately it hasn't been as active, even though I've been promoting it quite a bit. So now I'm just going to take it as a loss, and I'm not going to worry about it anymore. So the second thing that I am going to cancel is the podcast. And this one is a little more complicated, and just try to hear me out. I will start off by saying right off the bat that after the 3rd episode that I made last Saturday, I'm already burnt out. Yeah, and you can tell that something's wrong if you only do a podcast for 3 weeks and you're already just exhausted, and it's like you don't want to do another one. Now, one thing I want to clarify off the bat is I have no problems at all with Alex. Alex Gray, or Sonic Rules 831, is the other co-host for the podcast. I love the guy. He is kicking ass. He is creating his own version of One More Spark called Sunday Night Lights. And so if you guys want to support him, he's at Sonic Rules 831 on YouTube. And then on Twitter, he's Alex Gray 83. So nothing wrong with him at all. It's just, it goes back to the Discord thing as like another responsibility. And it got to a point because I want the talks to be fun. And to be honest, especially in the later goings, like, I really wasn't having fun. And especially for the last one, like, honestly, like, there are times where it's like, I didn't know what to say, but luckily, like, Noah and the other guys were able to kind of help pick things up. And, and I greatly appreciate them for that. And just another thing, too, like, I'm at a point right now, and hopefully this can change, but just right now, where I'm at in life and whatnot, if I work on anything that takes multiple days, or if I do a thing and it is like scheduled, whether that is weekly or monthly or whatever, like I get burned out way too easily. So with that being said, the podcast, I wouldn't necessarily say it's like going away per se. What's going to happen is I'm going to turn it into like Griff Talks Live, and every once in a while I'll go ahead, I'll throw up the stream, and we can do like AMAs, like just ask me anything and I can talk to you guys. It'll be fun, it'll be kind of and I want it to be absolutely low commitment on my end. And honestly, and you're thinking like, is it going to be weekly, bi-weekly? I don't know. There are times where like I feel super like committed and ecstatic and excited, and I'm willing to do a Q&A or AMA. But then it's like when you get to that moment where you're like expecting another episode or whatever, what if in that time I'm just not feeling it? And that's the thing, right? It's like I want to be at my best, at 100% for you guys. Because if I go in, let's say next Saturday, and I am supposed to do like a podcast and a Q&A video, and I'm only at like 70%, it's not good. Nobody wins in that situation. So, yeah. And who knows? Maybe in the future something might change and I might feel better. But for the time being, but I will say this: this Saturday, and I'm kind of doing it at the time as like the pre-race show for Daytona. So I'm thinking at 5 Eastern, 4 Central Time, we'll go ahead and we'll do a Griff Talks AMA. We could talk all about NASCAR, animation, whatever is on your mind, whatever your heart's desire, if you will. So, with that being said, the last thing that I am canceling, and this is kind of the big talk. Like, this is something that I've wanted to talk about for a while, and I've kind of kept it, well, I wouldn't say kept it quiet, because this is actually someone I really haven't thought about until recently. And then it's like, once I've kind of thought about it and put the pieces together, it's like, crap. I've been messing up here for the last 3 years. And so, the last thing I'm going to quit, and I'll put it this way. So, hello, my name is Griffin, and I'm addicted to caffeine. Yeah, no, I do have a caffeine addiction problem, and it's something that really hasn't been addressed for quite a while. And it's only been recently when I started putting 2 and 2 together that caffeine really has messed me up mentally. And I would definitely say for the past few years. So the little story, if there is one, behind like caffeine and like this addiction is that like off the bat, I have not had caffeine until high school. Like the only time I would have any type of caffeine is if I would either have the caffeine that's in like Coca-Cola or Pepsi or any of like those soft drinks, but nothing was as potent as like in coffee. I didn't have coffee until about sophomore or junior year in high school, and even then it was like once a week. And that was kind of the way how the cookie crumbled for a while, is like, you know, once a week, every once in a while, but I never really was, you know, addicted to it. I wasn't really reliant on it. All throughout high school, all throughout college, and maybe my first year away from college, like it was fine. And to be honest, in that time span, that was honestly when I felt the most creatively free. Because again, that's when I made all those Inner Child Security short videos, of course, What If Dale Earnhardt Was Still Alive videos, and honestly, I feel like that's when I made my best work. The tide turned, I believe, when I picked up the full-time job. And so I want to make sure I try to word this as clearly as possible. One thing I've talked about in the past in this channel is the winter of 2018. Whenever I refer to that, that was when, and again, this is like from December of 2017 through, I would say, March of 2018. Probably one of, if not the lowest points in my life. Because in that time span, I was working a full-time office job, so 40 hours a week, if not more, because especially in the winter, we do get overtime at that time. I'm working a part-time job at a news station on the weekends, and I'm doing this all while creating the ambitious project of One More Spark 1987. And the way how I was going about One More Spark 1987 was I was going to film everything, I was going to run all the races, and I was eventually going to, I think the month of either March or April, I was going to release each race one day at a time for the entire month. But I put way too much on my plate, and I crashed. And I think I've talked about that before. I crashed hard, and nobody won in that situation. And it was in that time span when I, took in the caffeine. And I was up to, 2-3 times the amount of caffeine that I should have. And mind you, too, this is in winter as well. So, and I'm up in South Dakota, so it is cold as balls, windy as balls. The snow does not do me any favors, considering I get anxiety every time I drive. So, like, again, nobody wins in that situation. Yeah, and that was kind of the start of it. Just feeling constantly scatterbrained and constantly feeling lost. Even though I do have a lot of energy, like, I wasn't mentally there, if that makes sense. So, I hate to say this, but as far as I'm concerned, the content, all the content that I made in the last 3 years, I feel like was a waste. Now, I won't say all. The ones that I do like are those Enter 2003 videos I made in 2018. So the Madness video, Daytona Beach, the big one, and the IndyCar videos. Like, I didn't mind those. I liked making those. Those, and then the 2018 Summer Showdown. I was totally cool with that too. Like, I love, and I'm so happy that I made that. But the problem was the entire time, and even through now, like, I was so caffeinated up that I lost sight of where I was supposed to go. The original plan for where I was going to go, like with my career and stuff like that, was that I was going to take this full-time job, and it was a contract job, which means like I'm not fully like with the company, and like if I take any time off, it would not be paid. So it's like I had to work those hours no matter what. Otherwise, as I said, I don't get paid. I don't get paid because I'm a contractor. Yeah, it just wasn't good, and I wasn't able to really put it all together. I lost my train of thought, which of course thanks to caffeine. Am I right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. The original plan. Thank you. I'm sorry. I totally lost track. I was supposed to work this office job for like 6 months. And the original plan was that trip to North Carolina, the one I did in 2018, my hope and goal with that trip was to start something. My goal was to potentially move down there and really, really 100% get the ball rolling with Griff Dog Productions. Because I have a lot of ambitious ideas and I really want to get the ball rolling with something. And I feel like if I'm closer to NASCAR land, which is North Carolina, hopefully I could have done something more. But again, I was just not in the right mind state to really go anywhere with that because, again, as far as I was concerned, I'm so caffeinated up. And it was pretty constant because, again, it's like I have the caffeine to keep the energy going because, again, I'm working 8 hours a week or 8 hours a day, looking at a computer and processing stuff the entire day. And then it's like I go home and it's like I'm supposed to work on this other stuff. And it's like, I have no desire to do that. And it sucks. So yeah, it's been a very constant thing. And then yeah, in the summer of 2019, and if you guys didn't know already, my little brother passed in the August of 2019, and that messed me up. And and it messed me up too so much where I ended up doing like 18 streams in the span of like a couple of months. And again, kept a full-time job, and I was again totally caffeinated up and miserable. Just miserable time because, again, it's like in that time span, it's like I was going through the motions, and it's like I was, like saying like what I feel like was the right stuff, but I didn't feel 100% there. Does that make sense? It's like I'm there, but I'm not. Like physically I'm there and I'm talking to you or other people, but it's like I don't feel that connection, like that emotional level, if you will. And so yeah, and it does actually put a lot of things into question. Like, for example, this new passion for animation. Like, is that real? And the short answer I would say is still yes. Like, there's still a lot to appreciate out of that. But it's like, do I want to go down that route or not? And that's one of the things that I have to figure out. And just the reason why I'm bringing this all up now is it got bad again just recently, these past couple of months, because of COVID, because of the high tensions that everybody seems to be going into. Like, honestly, like, you cannot say a thing without getting canceled, and that like freaks me out, like, almost like constantly. And then also moving. Like, I'm finally moved out of my folks' place, and I finally have a place to call my own. So, oh yeah, and not to mention, doing all this while working a full-time job. Like, I still have that going on. Like, I've been doing way too much for way too long, and it has absolutely burned me to a crisp. And that is the reason why I have canceled all these things, and I am taking like as far of a step back as possible. So if it seems like my, I guess, emotions are, a little different, or whatever the case may be, it is because of the lack of caffeine that is being poured into me. Yeah. So what is the goal of all this? Like, why am I canceling this? Like, what is the end goal? Like, what's going on, Griff? The big thing is I want to get the ball rolling and go full steam ahead with Griff Dog Productions. That is the ultimate goal. But I need to make sure that I'm in the right state of mind, yeah. In order for me to really do that. I really hope I can do this, because I think that's important. And that's the thing. It's like, I need to make sure that I know what I want to do, so that I can pursue hard at that. And so the good news is, with the place that I have right now, it is fairly quiet. Like, I don't have any dogs that'll bother me, no cats that bother me. Other than my one roommate, like, it's pretty isolated here, and that is a huge step in the right direction for me. I think the second huge step then is dropping the caffeine. I might take it every once in a while, like when I work out, because I do still lift weights. But otherwise, I'm gonna try my best to cut cold turkey from that. Invest in some tea, do some meditating, really have some time on my own. I recently got like a pair of like headphones, like Skull Candy Crusher headphones, to help me really focus, and that helps out a lot. And yeah, and eventually figure out what is my plan of attack. So yeah, I think that's all I needed to say. I do want to eventually make content that, interests people. And it's like, I do want to make like some of the same content, because I know that you guys do enjoy that. But I also want to make other content that challenges the norm. Stuff that has not been made before. Stuff that is kind of like in a new field, if you will. Stuff that'll make you laugh, stuff that makes you think. That is what I live for. Because in the end, I am a creator. And that is what I want to do for a living. And it is one of those jobs where I really don't consider it as a job. So, okay. So as I said, the next podcast talk show, it's an Ask Me Anything. Yeah, live show. It'll be at 5 Eastern, 4 Central. We'll go for about an hour and a half, and answer your guys' questions, talk NASCAR, talk life, talk animation, talk whatever is on your mind. But other than that, if you guys have any comments or questions, concerns, plug it away in the description or in the comment section down below. Otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter. GriffDog is the NASCAR Twitter stuff where I post the NASCAR stuff. If you're focused on the animation stuff, Griffin Spear is the Twitter handle on that. And then that's the same for Instagram as well. Okay, so I think I'm good. I'll leave it at that. And yeah, so with that being said, thank you guys so much for sticking around. It has been a very rough ride for me, but I hope to turn this ship around and we go full steam ahead in the right direction. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and this is GriffDog saying so long until next time.